Hello, beautiful people. In today's transmission, I'm going to be talking about surface level versus underlying problems and how when we only look at the surface level problems, how that can act out. And I am going to use my own story to share that because I've experienced this firsthand over and over again in the past until it finally clicked. And to really give you the context, I have to say years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I started a video production company and brought my brother in as 50-50 partner. And together we built the company to a six-figure, decent-sized video production company. And from the outside, everything looked great. But inside I was starting to feel this pull into a more purpose-driven life, a more mission-driven life. I knew that I wanted to create an impact, and I really just felt trapped in the partnership because I was changing and evolving quickly at this point in time. And and it was no longer in alignment with where he wanted to go. And, there's nothing wrong with his path. It just wasn't mine. So that kept showing up for me, and the universe kept giving me signs. And, oh man, it was just like I was dreading having the business breakup with my brother. And we had an investor, which meant there was an operating agreement and a non-compete. And eventually I decided to make the decision, and I was doing a little bit of self-work at this time, some meditating, and the signs just kept showing up. So I decided, okay, I'm going to make the jump. And what made it even more scary was that I was married at the time, and we had 2 kids going on 3 at that point in time. And at that point in time, our agreement that we had made together was that my wife, who was an amazing makeup artist and for film and for, in magazines and lots of, accolades, decided she wanted to stay home with the kids and that I would be able to earn the income. And so that was a decision we made together. It was an agreement. And when I left Allman Brothers, which was the name of our production company, I had nothing. I left with no equipment, no clients, and I wasn't even allowed to reach out to the clients. And that was a painful place to be in. And there was all kinds of feelings surrounding that. And so for a while I was working as a landscaper, working construction, and working as a server in a French restaurant. And I really did not enjoy it. Not at all. In fact, it felt like a really dark time in my life. I felt like I was trapped again. I felt like if I couldn't make it work, not only could I not support my family, which I had tons of shame around and stories, and constantly reminding myself my wife gave up what she was doing so that she could stay home with the kids and I could provide the income, the financial support. And I was telling myself that I was sucking at doing that job. I was not fulfilling my end of the agreement, and that I was out of integrity. And that led to me not trusting myself and all these other feelings that I didn't want to feel and that I, at the time, was struggling to work through. So then I started diving more into my spirituality. I started doing Qigong and practicing Qigong, and eventually became certified in Qigong to teach Qigong. So I started teaching, and that led me to breathwork because the breath is a big part of Qigong. So I became passionate about breathwork, and I still am. And I started doing some workshops, and people were having amazing experiences in the workshops. So I was like, oh, this might be it. I saw other people out there traveling the world doing these breathwork workshops. And I thought, this is it. This is the thing I'm going to do. And I started calling venues, and nobody would let me come and do a breathwork workshop. And I couldn't understand why. I didn't understand how other people were doing it. And it just wasn't working out for me. I hit this wall. So I went back in and leaned in harder to start doing more men's work. I started sitting in men's circles every other week. I did an intensive men's work weekend. I invested in myself and my own growth. And through that process, I started getting a little bit more. And I started working with a mentor, once every couple months, sometimes once every month. And through that process, I realized that I was developing the tools as a marketer this whole time, doing the video work. And now I was developing my healer tools. I was at this time attuned to Reiki as well. So I thought, I can help all my healer friends with the healing, with the marketing work. And this makes perfect sense. So I surveyed tons of healers. Over 200 healers told me that marketing was the biggest obstacle keeping them from accelerating their mission. So I thought, this is amazing. I can teach them how to market. So I set out to do that. I created this big course solving all the problems that they told me they had. And I put the course up for sale. And I got a few people to sign up. And I was like, I thought I had this figured out. What the fuck is the problem? What is the problem here? I just didn't understand what the problem was. And when I finally really doubled down on my own coaching, my own mentors, my own training with the men's work that I was doing, it finally clicked that all the marketing and the being seen piece with the healers was the surface level problem, and that the underlying problem was actually rooted in fears about being seen, fears about money, fears about just everything that they had a fear about based on stories that usually were rooted in their childhood. And these were the things that had to shift before any of the marketing work and the business stuff mattered. Because they could have used all the same tactics that the healers who were out there doing amazing were using. But if they didn't have all the mindset pieces shifted to where they needed to be so that they were aligned with allowing abundance to flow in and through their business, and they were allowing themselves to be fully seen, if they weren't in integrity in those areas, it didn't matter. And I realized that only because that was my experience. So when I started digging into those areas, I realized this is it. This is where I can fully support them. So when I started coaching healers and helping them overcome the same things that I had overcome, all of the limiting beliefs and the critical self-talk and the stories that I had picked up and then worked through in my men's groups and in my one-on-one sessions with my coach and teachers and mentors, that was when I was able to make the shift. And when I started helping them do that, they were able to make the shifts as well. That was the piece that unlocked everything, is doing the underlying work. Because doing the surface level stuff just shifts it, and it keeps shifting. You solve this marketing problem and a new problem shows up. Because in my past, I was creating the new surface level problem based on that underlying issue. And it's so hard to see that underlying issue. So I'm standing here right now, free to move how I want to move. Powerful. Follow my own intuition. Because I was helped and supported by beautiful teachers and coaches. And people held space for me to be seen, and they mirrored back to me the things that I couldn't see, so that I could clear those out of the way and show up more powerfully for the people who I was intended to hold space for. And my belief is that if you are watching this right now, that's by no accident. Because maybe, just maybe, there's a piece of something that is taking up space that you're not even conscious of. But it's the underlying piece that is keeping you from getting the flow of abundance you want, or experiencing and receiving the love that you want. So many of the men who I work with have a block to receiving. It's one of the most common pieces that I help men with. And one of the things I help a lot of healers with is receiving money. We all have these stories that we grew up with. We all have the stories that we grew up with. So if you want to start taking a look at and see what you can't see, I would be happy to schedule a free coaching call with you. You can just send me a DM and I'll send you the link to schedule that. I have so much love for you. And I know that you are here with gifts to give and medicine to offer. And that could look a million different ways. That could look like you holding space for other people to do their healing work. That could look like you building somebody's dream home. That could look like you coming in and helping somebody in their moment of need. Whatever that looks like for you, you have specific medicine for specific people. And it's all about you stepping out, being courageous, working through all of the things that you need to make space for and move out of your field so that you can truly offer your authentic gift to these people. I hope that you have a beautiful day. And again, if you would like support, please reach out, message me, and we'll set up a free call.